here's a quick theory recap. All right, so how we build a major scale is we start out on any note and plug in this formula. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So if I start out on C, plug in my whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. There's my C major scale. I can do it from anywhere. A flat, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. All right, since each scale is using the same formula, that's how these patterns stay the same no matter where you go. To find other scales, you're going to see them referred to as numbers. So the first one's going to be 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, which is how we find our chords. All right, so a major chord is going to be 1, 3, 5 of our scale, where we skip a note. 1, not 2, 3, 5. It's also how we get arpeggios. And then our minor is going to be 1, flat, 3, 5. Notice only one note changes. So that's why for our bar chords, only one note changes. To get seventh chords, what we do is we just keep on skipping a note or add in another third. So 1, 3, 5, not 6, but 7 now. So for our major 7, it's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7. Dominant 7, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Minor 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. All right. So how we build extended chords, like if you see a 9, 11, or 13, is since these are numbers, you just keep them going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is the same as 2, 10, 11, which is the same as 4, and 13, which is the same as 6. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then 11, and then 13. Now how we find the names of chords, or how we kind of decipher names if we're seeing like a C major 9, the names are just telling us exactly what to do. So for a couple things to remember though, is that if it says major, and then something like a 9, 11, or 13, we have the 7 in there. It says minor, then we have the flat 7 and flat third along with this extended note. And then if there's nothing, dominant. If it says add 9, that means there's no 7th, just have the 3 notes, and then the 9th. So for example, a C add 9 would be our 1, 3, 5, no 7th, just the 9, which is how we get something like that. Or if we were to see a C major 9, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, we could take away some notes because getting all 5 notes can be pretty tricky sometimes. The most common one to get away is the 5th. Remember, there's only 2 notes that are really telling us anything about the chord. The 3 is telling us whether it's major or minor, and then the 7th is, whether it's regular or flatted. So something like a C9, there's no major or minor. It's going to be a dominant, the flat 7. Major 9, move that 7th up to where it normally is. Like a sharp 11 is going to tell us, okay, you have to there's the 11, you have to move it up 1. So a C9, C7, or C9, sharp 11, 1, 3, flat 7, D, 9, sharp 11. So now that we know how to build our chords with the numbers, let's actually start referring to the chords as numbers. We have 1, 4, and 5 as our major chords, and 2, 3, and 6. So that we can build our chords using the scale numbers, let's assign a chord to each of the scale numbers. So if you see 1, 4, 5, that's going to be our first note of the scale, the 4th note of the scale, and the 5th note of the scale. Now each note always has the same major or minor. So for our 1 chord is always going to be major, 4 chord is always going to be major, and so is our 5 chord. Our 2, 3, and 6 chords are always going to be minor. So if we were to do this in C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is diminished, that's hardly used, and then back to 1, which is major. So if we were to see something like a 1, 5, 6, 4, 1, 5, 6, 4. Utilizing arcade shapes, we can transpose now any song in any key just by knowing what the numbers are. So if we want to do 1, 5, 6, 4 in D, same shapes, everything is the same relation because we're using the same formula to get each scale, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That now allows transposing and everything else to be a lot simpler. We can do that in our C shape, G shape, any cage shape works there. Finding the key is almost always going to be the first chord, although sometimes if something funky is going on, plug it into your cage shapes and figure out which number everything is going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So for example, an A minor and D, we're not going to have, it's not going to be in our, not going to be in the key of A minor or C because that has a D minor in it instead of a D major. So let's try it in G. There we go. A minor and D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we refer to any chord, now if we were to try to find out, if we were to try to tell someone the number of chords and it doesn't really line up, like a C, B flat, A minor, G, we have to refer to things as how they're going to be. B flat, that's going to be a flat 7, so 1, major flat 7, 6, 5. Unless something's not in the key, you don't need to specify whether it's major or minor.